What's good, y'all? It's your boy ARP, and we still here rocking with the Sorry is True podcast. I admit today's news I didn't expect, but I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all. They're saying that the alleged shooter and killer of Takeoff from the Migos, DJ Pat out of Texas, was set free on bail today, $1 million bail. So originally his bail was set at $2 million. I believe the family and the defense pleaded to the judge that they've exhausted all sources of finances thus far, from already legal fees and the attorneys that's already represented him for his defense. They claim that he was broke. He even got some type of stipend from the government or something like that to hire a private investigator to help him with this case. So he's definitely been able to prove that financing wise, he kind of deserves a second look. So his bail was dropped from $2 million to $1 million. Now, of course, $1 million doesn't have to go up. There could be different type of stipulations based on that, but usually that's in the form of cash and or some type of collateral, right? So that would end up being maybe $100,000, 10% of 1 million that he had to put up, him or his family or his friends had to put up for him to make bail, which he did. So that could be houses, that could be a little bit of cash, who knows? But yes, he's walking around as a free man right now, of course, awaiting trial for that to come back around. And the reason why I say, I didn't expect it is because it's such a large profile case. And allegedly he was caught while trying to flee the country. Remember all those reports saying that they caught him on his way to Mexico and he had applied for an emergency passport and all that. So that's why I'm a little bit surprised that he made bail or was even given a reduced bail at all. Now, maybe they could have felt like $1 million. You ain't getting that up. You know what I'm saying? Or, maybe they just feel like, hey, $1 million is just in the situation for an alleged murder. I think it's first degree murder, and if you get it up, you get it up, despite you possibly being caught or apprehended while you were fleeing the country. So that's the side of it why I'm kind of a little bit shocked. The reason why I'm not shocked at him making bail is because I think that if we're already saying it based on some of the small footage that has come out, some of the small audio that the internet police have already dissected and did their detective homework on, I think it's pretty well thought at this point in the streets that there was more than one shooter that night, more than one person firing a weapon that night. So if everybody's believing that, there could already be an assumption, even from the state or the prosecution side, that, all right, maybe we have some charges on this guy. Maybe there's still some more to sort out as far as his blame in particular. But sounds like there's got to be other involvement that they're very, very aware of or possibly targeting heavily, if not already. They could be sitting outside somebody's home, staking them out right now for all we know, right? So I was a little bit surprised being at the fleeing thing, but there was more than one shooter. So two subtopics off of that. I don't think you're going to see much cooperation in this case. That's just a guess. I'm not from Texas, but we hear a lot. We hear that, the Prince family has a lot of strength out there, right? So I think the fear factor comes into play because this was a smaller party, they say, right? So you got the fear factor of the Prince family and all those affiliates, everybody just shutting the hell up, even though, of course, there was a lot of people there that wasn't affiliated with anybody and just tied to the streets. We seen a post from that girl that was at the airport talking about, I almost lost my life last night. She might have just been a woman that flew in for a good time, right? But for the most part, I feel like people that know who's who and exactly what happened and who did what and how to find this person, whatever, you may not get some talking. I mean, of course, unless some arrests are made, and then you never know, people start getting to snitching. Like we're seeing what's going on in the YSL case. People start taking pleas all over the place and all that type of stuff. But if there's no other arrest, you're not going to see people that's affiliated or even, closely affiliated with the Prince family, or maybe some of the people that was there, just come up and offer information unless they're already arrested and being interrogated or being offered some type of plea or something like that. I don't expect that. They're saying even Quavo is not cooperating. Now that is another subtopic that I'm not shocked in either. For one of two reasons. I don't know Quavo's background. I don't know how much of a street guy he is or whatever. Of course, they all have a certain type of rap that they all put out and message that they put out via their lyrics, but it could just be entertainment. I don't know how street Quavo is, but let's say he is a street guy. Let's say he abides by street code. Well, then technically he probably wouldn't come forward at all, right? And he wouldn't be the first rapper in that type of situation to do that. I think that happened with Busta Rhymes. Wasn't it Busta Rhymes' security guard or close friend or something like that was killed, and Busta Rhymes did not cooperate? Once again, that could be because you're just trying not to break street code, or the second reason could be that both people in both instances know, and those two aren't the only ones, not just Busta Rhymes and Quavo, but these people know, these artists know, especially in hip hop, it's career suicide. If you're labeled a snitch at all, it's career suicide. That's why I had that same question to Jims when we was rocking out in a separate episode. I asked him, I said, if you were Tory Lanez, would you have risk taking a stand? Right. And I think the risk that Tory Lanez has to think about in that type of decision is, if I get on that stand and I say Kelsey did this or Meg did this, are they going to call me a snitch? Not only are they going to possibly call me a snitch, they're going to say I'm snitching on women. Not only going to say that I'm a snitch and I'm snitching on women, they're going to say I'm snitching on women, and I'm snitching on women that's not even in the street, not even other street, you know what I'm saying? Civilians. I'm snitching on women, and I'm snitching on civilians. It's like they're going to kill me behind that. And I'm thinking about that shit in flight. You don't think Tory processed that as he's going through these motions? So if you're thinking that you got a good chance of getting off, why risk your career as well? Maybe that's some of the gamble. In Quavo's case, I haven't heard of Quavo being arrested or being brought in for questioning or interrogation. So he's not going to walk into no precinct and start offering information behind this. It's career suicide. And if he's just trying to follow street code, that would be breaking the street code. So you're not going to get any cooperation there either. Now, here's another thing that I want to jump into before we jump off this topic. Understand that this is a high profile case, shooting, murder. Takeoff comes from the Migos. It's a huge chart topping group. So it's going to be through headlines. People are going to be demanding justice. They don't even have to be the family. It's just be like the pressure of how newsworthy this is. Those local police departments and what they want to solve a crime like this. That, on the flip side of that, I think that's why people are so shocked, at how things have went on for the Biggie and the Tupac murder, because like they're so high profile, right? But for the most part, in high profile shit, they going after somebody. They're gonna get somebody, right? Or if it's in the wrong place, like where FBG Duck was killed. If that was some senseless murder in the middle of Old Block or whatever, or 63rd, maybe they don't go as hard. But where it happened, it's like the equivalent of Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. Nah, we got to figure this out. We got to apply all resources to grabbing somebody and convicting somebody about this, right? So considering that same case here with Takeoff'S murder, I feel like it's so high profile that I think if DJ Pat got off, there'd be a lot of people upset. I'm not saying me, but when I see that he was given bail, reduced bail, money from the process or the government to even help hire a private investigator and everything, once again, it seems like everybody already has their mind made up that there was another shooter there. This man is going to ride the defense all the way through. He's going to ride self-defense. That's going to be his whole defense for this case, for this shooting, right? That somebody else on the other side drew a gun or shot first or whatever the case may be. And we're talking Texas here. There'd be like these reputations of Texas of like homeowners like shooting people on their front lawn, dragging them in the house, and case closed. You know what I'm saying? It's Texas. Talk about the Floridas and the Georgias and the Texas, and even I think, is it Virginia as well? Some of these areas, some of these states, man, especially stand your ground laws. It's a different ball game when it comes to using deadly force, and if it continues to be proven and shown that this man feels that his life was in danger in Texas, So that's why he did what he did. Now, of course, there could still be other charges that come from that. Maybe you could say something like, I don't know, reckless endangerment, but how do you apply reckless endangerment if you're already going to justify somebody in self-defense? I don't know, because they do train people, though, saying that you're still responsible for every bullet that leaves your gun, even if you're a cop, right? If I have a threat right in front of me and I aim directly at this threat to kill this person that I think is threatening my life, and I end up hitting some other innocent bystander, I'm still responsible for that. You're responsible for every bullet that leaves your barrel, right? So that kind of goes like this to a degree, but even still, you could face civil suits from the family, Takeoff's family, but he probably would rather face things like civil suits or reduced charges opposed to first-degree murder, right? I don't know. Seeing him make bail, I just think that anybody that has those type of emotions towards watching how this plays out because of Takeoff. If you have those type of emotions towards it, brace yourself, because there's a high chance that this guy DJ Pat is going to get off from self-defense.
And their conquest would be far more difficult. So before striking with his armies, he used another weapon.
I should be on X-Files. I'm a reptile. What I spit is heat. I live in streets that pump more sand than Venice Beach. My fan base range from Spain out to Tennessee, Sicily, Italy, Nola, Pistol Pete. Mention me, you gon' be sleeping where the fishes be. Little Miss Thing gon' be missing for like 60 weeks. I flip your head back and reverse like a Missy beat. New strap.
Oh, nah, it ain't done yet. February 4th. They said the hardest thing to do in life is write a will.
Holla, what up, nigga?
Purchase your ticket to be in the building or catch it live on pay-per-view stream.
Propaganda barrage, to confuse, to make them lose faith, to divide and conquer.